Thank you for joining our Q&A for No New Wave. My name is Kris. I'm the programming co-manager at the Asian American International Film Festival, celebrating our 45th year. Before we begin, I'd like to thank our sponsors, Citibank and Life Water. Really excited about this film because I feel like it's a really true New York City film. I really loved it, and man, I really am. I told you before, I'm really excited about this. So, if you guys don't mind introducing yourselves and your role on No New Wave.
I'll go first.
Yeah, you go first.
Hi, so my name is Wenyi, and I play the role of Ginny in the film No New Wave. Next.
And next, Laze.
Hi everyone, my name is Laze. I play the role Ziwei in this film.
Songnia.
Hi, I'm Songnia. Great. I suddenly forgot my character.
Yeah, you're Lindsy. You're Lindsy. Yeah.
Lindsy. Oh my God. Yeah, that's me. It's been a while.
Years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jessie then.
Oh, hi. My name is Jessie, and I'm the first assistant director of this film.
Okay, and Shao-Wen.
Hi, I'm Shao-Wen. I'm the cinematographer and co-writer of the film No New Way.
Yeah. So Shao-Wen and I co-wrote this screenplay. Yeah, and he's the DP, and I'm the director and writer of this film, and also the editor. So
Wow.
yeah, because no one is doing it for me.
That's always I hear that so often, and it's awesome, but a lot of work. And I'm curious to learn what was the beginning of this? What was the sort of genesis of this project, Ziwei?
Well, I was thinking about it just now, like a few minutes ago. I guess probably have to start with watching too many bad films, like bad New York student films, like all around us. And I just felt that I can do so much better than these films around me. And then
I can relate to that.
Yeah, and somehow like maybe back in 2016, 15, I was looking at films that tell the story about film students abroad coming to New York to study film, and then and their life in New York City, and I felt that I can do a better job than them, and also I felt that I should do something like a summary after before I leave New York City, because like Shao-Wen and I and Jessie, we were very confirmed that we are gonna leave right after our study, and so I guess that is the main genesis of this film. And I always wondered about like people be doing films about third world problems, like in the countryside, in Africa, in Asia, and there isn't much films that talk about actual like real life around us, although it might sound like a first world problem, but I just felt like doing it. Yeah. And the question will be, is there really like not worth telling, even we are living in a first world NYC? Yeah, that will be the question I want to ask. And at the end of the day, I just hope that people would resonate with this film.
Thank you. I think oftentimes when people make movies about New York, the film is called like a love letter to New York. They'll use that phrase. What kind of letter do you perceive that No New Wave is to New York?
Well, that's a very tough question. I guess that's a very love-hate relationship. I guess like Xiao and Jessie can relate to that, and I guess Sonia and Wenyi will relate to that as well. And people come into New York thinking that New York might be a heaven kind of place, like a place where you will succeed being a filmmaker, being an actor, or something like that. But right after you land in New York City, you realize that it's something that you're not expecting, and something that is not desirable at times. And then you start to go with the flow, and you get used to it. You get used to all the New York problems, and then you find the beauty within the problems. So I guess that love letter would be a love-hate. Yeah, that's how I describe it.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that as well. So for everyone, how did you guys get involved in this project, and what was your sort of first reaction, or what drew you to getting involved? Maybe we can start with the cast.
Well, I guess for me, it was the kind of dilemma that she was in that was like brought up by like a conversation between Laze's character and Ginny. They were talking about like, okay, like should you stay or should you leave? And you feel like you have to accomplish something, and I just felt like the whole time I had this like soundtrack. I don't know if you've heard of that song called New York I Love You, but You're Bringing Me Down.
Oh, of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Oh my God. I was like, that was so relatable.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, as like creatives, in New York, you fall in love with the city, but at the same time, it's just like you had so many high expectations, and it's not easy to survive. You get it's hard to stand out at the same time. I just felt like the whole time I was being pushed toward a direction. I actually had this conversation with the director while we're reading the script. He was talking about, okay, like everybody shares one brain, and they share one dream in China. And I feel like the city is New York. It's like it's I don't really have a direction. I have no choice. I just feel like New York is the one that chooses the direction, like which direction I need to go. I need to go every day. I'm being pushed.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. And I don't know about Songnia. So
Well, I guess I'm named to follow up. Well, for me, it's like when I just got the script at that time, it's like I graduated from like NYU after a year. I'm like, oh yeah, it's cool. Like I didn't like, and I'm also, as like a supporting character, I was like, okay, this is like, interesting, reflecting the life of, all of us trying to pursue our dreams. I think at the time, I really didn't think too much of it. I think it's more like now when I watch it again after graduating for so many years, like I graduated 2017, and now I'm in China, I'm in Beijing. And then I'm like, this film is so much more relatable to me now. Because I feel like it's just like this constant struggle of like, what should I do next? And like what Wenyi is saying right now, like for me, I want to go back to States, but I feel like since I am in China now, I need to prove myself here. I feel like I need to be qualified to go back to States again, to continue pursuing this dream, like, in movies. And I feel like it's more like what I feel now looking at it. I think the director, he chose at the time, he's always like, oh, Songnia, you're just like this really sunny, bright, like girl, it's like no worries in your life. And then we met each other like last year in Beijing, and he's like, oh, you still seem sunny, but there's like more like darkness to you now. And I'm like, oh my God, what has life done to me? But I think overall, it's just like, I think it's more like for me, the film has a bigger impact when I watch it now, because I think it's more relatable, because I think like the characters, I think I'm still lost in a way and still struggling. and I'm still trying to pursue what I'm passionate about, but I don't know where this is going really. And it's kind of like that constant thing that you're going through a cycle of again and again. Yeah.
Mine is pretty short. Sorry. Mine's pretty short. That was back then I was starting out as trying to be an actor. So when this opportunity comes along, I was based in LA, and I'm still in LA. So having an opportunity to go out to New York to act in feature film for me was a very interesting challenge, which is why I took on to it.
Very nice. And Shao-Wen and Jessie, how did you guys get involved?
Okay, so because we're like basically like studying together and like in the same like film program at the time, and we're thinking about like doing something before we leave, right? So, but I mean, Ziwei is like, he's the only one who has the money to do it.
Sorry.
So I'm tagging along with this project, and then here we are like 4 years later, and it's finally done. And yeah, I'm great to, yeah, I'm very great to see this happening. Like finally we can watch this, I mean, on big screen. Yeah. Yeah. How about you, Shao-Wen?
For me,
Shao-Wen
like
he actually drank alcohol before this.
Yeah.
Why he was nervous?
not really nervous, just like just to and to speak up for everyone, you know. Just like I think for the beginning of this film, like I think for living New York for like 3 years, and there's a rage, I think, inside me, and maybe Ziwei too. So that it's like something like when you are coming to New York, you are no longer special, and you are no longer like third world like person, because there's more people like who act more poor than you and like who are richer than you. But for this film, we didn't have like a lot of resources to do it. So we were just like, okay, before we're leaving New York, we're going to like make something different. Like we're not going to put a lot of money in a single film, and we're going to trying to use what we have in our hands and to make it happen, and to prove ourselves that even though we don't have the resources, but we can do something good. Maybe like average, not very good, but just trying to prove ourselves. Yeah, so that's probably for me, it's like my beginning of this film.
Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. I was really interested in the title, and we were talking about it a little bit before. I was very drawn to the title. I definitely sensed, at least before I watched it, that there was a musical significance to it. I think you indicated earlier that that wasn't really your intention. I'm curious, what was your thought behind No New Wave as the title, Ziwei?
Well, we actually come from an idea that is stretched all the way from the new wave cinema. Because when I first studied in New York, I wasn't exposed to cinema much until like Shao-Wen showed me Taiwanese new wave, like Edward Yang, you know, that kind of film, and I was very impressed, and I felt that I should, you know, follow some kind of a footstep of that kind of style. But at the same time, I realized that the new wave cinema is no longer around, and basically no one is actually like, you know, doing it right now. So I just felt that the trend of future cinema would be a no new wave. Like the new wave is no longer there. Like it's not coming back. It's never coming back. And so well, that might sound a little bit negative, but that's my prediction to the film. So that's the first reason I use no new wave. And also that new wave also means like what Wenyi has said, that, and also Xiao has said, that, you know, when we come to New York, like everyone cease to become special, or no one is ever special because there's so many talents in New York City, and you don't feel special anymore, even if you are special in your country to begin with. So that wave also signifies like the wave of foreign talents coming to the States. So like no
Or
one
being
is going,
drowned.
yeah, or being drowned. Yeah, so either no one is going back, like Laze, his character is staying in New York forever, and although he's not doing something that he likes, so he's not going back like waves, and yeah, I guess that's about it.
I see. That's great. Yeah, yeah, it was very compelling, the reference to new wave cinema. But I don't know if you knew that. And sorry, I guess it's not, I'm not the answer giver, but I could talk a lot about, the sort of New York music scene in the 70s. And there were these musicians that were very experimental musicians that called themselves the no wave because there was the new wave, and these guys were like, they were non-professional musicians who were like, we can make music too, like as an art form, like you don't have to be able to play guitar. And they made these like Sonic Youth developed out of this scene. This very noise rock scene was called no wave, and that was in New York. And so it made me think of that, this sort of like underground, musical underground in the 70s. And I think that when you're an artist in New York, you do kind of feel underground even now, but it's less glamorous maybe than when we look back on the 70s. We're like, these guys are heroes, like they were these great artists, but maybe they felt a lot like your characters at that time. I think that what I'm curious about is your process in capturing a lot of these moments that feel very serendipitous and spontaneous. It feels like maybe there was, would you say that there were these sort of improvisational moments, had, like, for example, interacting with, the men at the park, or when you're in Chinatown, or when you're in Washington Square Park and you're just having these conversations with passerby, how were those captured?
Oh, well, some of them are actually staged, like the one at Columbus Park. That one old man Wenyi was speaking to is an actor. I mean, the crowd is basically there for you to shoot, but that one old man is staged. But that one old man actually drawn the rest of the old men around us, and then it started a new conversation. Like the old man was saying that, like, asking Ginny, do you know how you managed to come to the States, and this and that. And yeah, so like partly we staged, and the other half we just leave it to chance, like spontaneous chance. But for some other parts, like shooting the performers at the Times Square subways, those are just moments that I, throughout my 3 years in New York, I just feel that is something that I will one day bring it into my film. And so after we finish the shoot, like in 2 weeks, I'll go around New York City with Xiao, sometimes alone, and try to capture as many, just shots that I think that has to be in my film. Like the opening shot, the one that's train across the Manhattan Bridge. That is one I always wanted to be in my film, which I'm not sure like which part of the film it has to be, but I just somehow want to capture it.
Yeah, no, that's great. It definitely is. It gives the sense of it being like a documentary in and of itself. And I was curious to what extent, it was improvised, or when you Songnia and Laze, how did you get to shape the characters? Did you have some ability to contribute or put yourself into it?
Well, I guess that was like part of the fun of working with Ziwei. It's like he actually let things happen, as a director. He just like sit and watch, like he's behind the camera, and he just let everything unfold like naturally. It's not like nothing is like really forced. So yeah, it was really exciting because like a lot of the conversation between me and Laze's character, Awe is improvised. Say like, for example, the scene in the car and when we're walking, and it just I think it's just we are allowed to follow our instincts and just go with the flow. So that was interesting. That was fun, and a lot of the conversation we had were actually just like our own thoughts, I guess, because the character we played were like so relatable. It's just our lives, it's so close to the lives we were living in New York, so it wasn't hard saying them, Yeah.
Right. And you and Songnia and Laze, you feel similarly about it? Did you get to contribute any of your like being from LA, Laze? You think that there was a challenge in that regard, or?
Yeah, for me, well, first of all, for context, the film was made like 4 years ago, so
right.
Memory has faded and all that. But I think the things I remember when preparing for this was that I was really because the time of the character spans a bit of a time in the process of this film. So the way I was approaching it was really just to try to understand the core of what this character sort of resembles in this world, which to my understanding is a person who is, kind of like a warrior soldier having a pretty peaceful or even optimistic mindset, and then to stick it out in New York, hoping things will happen, even though it doesn't happen in the best way, at least in the way that he can be content with. So that was kind of what I was grasping towards when I was, required to improvise it, go back and forth when that was my process. Songnia.
Yes. I think like, at least for my character, I think it was just like me at the time, like who I am. And I think that's also why like Ziwei wanted me to do that character. And I, like I said previously, I think at the time it was like, I think I was a bit more carefree, like things were a bit easier. And I think Wenyi definitely has been in the industry, like auditioning and working longer than I have at the point. So we're at very like different areas of like life, at least professionally. And I think, compared to her, I was just like, yeah, this is great. Okay, like, just go do what you want. Like, I think things were a bit more, I guess I was a bit more naive looking at things, like looking at it now. But then, for me now, I think I can relate to Wenyi's character more. So I think for me at the time, it's just really what stage I was in my life at that time. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess it's back and forth, right? It comes and goes, like this kind of like expectation, or like, oh my God, I'm gonna go get it. It's just like for like maybe like 6 months, you're like so hyped, and then
and then you're
shit.
like, you're like, I was like, what am I doing? And then you have to get yourself like back up again, and it's just like
exactly
circles and circles.
Yeah.
And 4 years ago, I mean, I don't even know if I realized that you guys made this 4 years ago. I mean, I guess I assumed it was pre-COVID, but man, so much has changed. It goes without saying that so much has changed since then, and it's great to see. It'll stand as like this document of this sort of pre-COVID New York City that you guys were all in. I think that's like an achievement in and of itself. But yeah, I mean, you guys talked a lot about kind of looking back at this being 4 years ago, and again, like this idea of it being before this big historical circumstance that we all found ourselves a part of. I don't know, this is a deep question, but how do you guys feel? Like, what are some other ways or some ways you feel like you've changed since then?
Oh,
I don't know. It just came to me. I did write this one down. I just like, I don't know, just like,
oh boy.
like where are you now and what are you working on now, I guess. and you know, where have you been led to, I guess, during this tumultuous time, you guys?
I don't know. I guess it comes with age. I don't know. I'm 30. That was like 4 years ago. If anything, I was more anxious before, I would say. Like well, like a lot of people are like get anxiety as they grow older, but I'm like, okay, 30 is perfect for me. I found balance. Before I was maybe too eager to impress, too sentimental. Now I guess like it's just more balanced. I've become more rational when it comes to like, you know, making decisions or like, you know, finding a new path, like moving to a new city. I'm in Shanghai right now. Like pretty much for 2 years, I've given up my acting career. I was signed with an agency in LA, and COVID hit, so I just moved back to Shanghai. And now I'm just, for some reason, I've always found my way back to like, you know, hanging out with the film people. So I guess, yeah, I'm just gonna work on my new short at the end of September. So it's back and forth. I'm telling you, no new wave. I don't know.
To wrap up, you guys were talking about how you made this one 4 years ago. It was before COVID. I'm just curious, sort of, what have you guys been up to these last 4 years during this kind of tumultuous time, and what's next for you guys?
Okay, so for me, like 4 years ago, I was a lot more impulsive. I would say sentimental and just, you know, like emotional. But now I found balance with age. I'm like, I just turned 30, and I moved back to Shanghai, and I feel like like I found balance between like being rational and being like, you know, impulsive, making impulsive decisions, or just like being overwhelmed with my like emotions as like a creative, like an artist. And I haven't done anything film related for the past 2 years because of COVID. I like I said, I signed with an agency in LA right before COVID hit, and then there's the pandemic, so I moved back to China, and now I have a flower shop. But during these 2 years, I've been like meeting people in the industry. I feel like I was never too far from what I used to do and what I love. So I'm finding my way back to this business, this acting career, and I'm working on my short film. And we have a really good script called 月亮杀死太阳. Sorry. Yeah, at the end of September, I'm looking forward to it.
So funny because you're like narrator, you're like 4 years ago. I think you're around like my age. Well, I'm 27.
Yeah, there you
so
go.
I'm just like, I think I'm like at your place where you were.
Yeah, you're Ginny now.
Yeah, I feel like I'm, you know, like low-key. And it's so funny because it's like kind of like that anxiety, that back and forth. And I guess it's more impulsive than it is rational. And it's like really like less stable. But like Wenyi, it was also when the pandemic hit. I actually just moved back to LA at that point. And then the pandemic hit. And then I was like, okay. Now my parents were coming back to China. So I came back with them, and boom, now it's like it's almost been like 2 years. And I think there has been many times where I'm like, I should just quit acting, because I'm like, I don't know where this future is going to lead me. Like but then it's like at the end of the day, I'm still like, I'm happiest doing this. It's like I can't leave it. So yeah, like, you know, earlier this year, I also wrote and directed and acted in my own short film as well. I guess we're all just trying to write and shoot our own thing. And right now it's like, I'm working on trying to like make a play happen with like my friends here as well, who are like one that's also from like NYU, like in New York, and we found each other randomly on set in Beijing. Yeah. Like we didn't even know we're like in Beijing. I was like, wait, what? Why are you here? Exactly. So I guess it is still kind of like you know, we're still going. Like I feel like No New Wave, we're continuing that. It's kind of like, I think the struggle still continues, but I think we all love what we do so much that it's okay. It's more like we don't have a choice, I think, because we love this. And like Wenyi, like she couldn't leave. Like, yeah, she has her flower shop. She's done many things. I've seen her like posting about it, but it's like she said just now, it's like she still can't leave it. Still, we still come back to this at the end of the day.
Right. Yeah. I guess everyone gets to experience Ginny once in their life. We just take turns, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Are you trying to say the script is universal?
Yeah. Okay. Your turn. Like
Yeah, mine is pretty quick. Yeah, I'm still away. I think I'm still optimistic, still sticking it out, still doing what I like over what could lead me to be successful. So since then, I went to AFI, got a producing degree. Now I am venturing into the short form comedic space, trying to get a TikTok sitcom off the ground and, you know, do more short form stuff.
That's really fascinating. I feel like I want to do a whole Q&A on just what a TikTok sitcom is.
It's not that fancy as it is, but yeah, I'm pretty hyped about it because that's something that I like. So yeah, we'll see where that takes me.
Yeah, okay, I'll go first, and then I think like after shooting this film, I was like struggling, like, you know, as an indie filmmaker. And so I'm like away from production for a while now, but like still like writing my own like project and hope that I can make my first feature happening like in 1 or 2 years. Yeah.
That Xiao go first.
Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, you can go first.
Oh, he let me go first? Okay.
Do it.
Okay. Well, yeah, actually, I think Sonia and Wenyi reminded me of something that I didn't speak of. One other idea that I had for this film is like I just realized that we are, at least at that moment, I or many other teenagers or, you know, young adults were at that stage of, you know, you have more questions than answers in your life, and you basically know like a chunk of items that you dislike, that you hate, but you have no idea what you like or what to do in the future. So I guess Ginny is that so-called universal script for all young adults, especially at that spot. Basically she got no idea what she actually liked to do. But you know, after trying out Awe and trying out Ayao, that two guys, that kind of lifestyle, they so I mean, it's not the kind of ideal lifestyle she want to go into. So, but she's stuck at a spot that she don't know where to go, and so she has to be on the move, and that's where you get the last long shot at the Times Square subway, and the messages on top been telling you like you're tired, go home, and everything that like that. Yeah, I guess for me, I guess I share some of that experience from Wenyi as well. I was more anxious like 4 years ago, and definitely more questions than answers. But right now, I guess I had some of those questions solved along the way, and less questions obviously right now. More balance, like her, similarly like Wenyi, more balance, more calm, and I don't even know if I'm gonna make my second film next in anytime soon. So, but back in like 4 years ago, I was pretty anxious. Like I'm gonna make one film that prove myself, and for, you know, Shao, Jessie, for our batch, for our class. And then right now, I guess I would just live everything to life. I don't care if I have no more filmmaking. For the rest of my life. I don't care right now. I just let everything flow. Yeah.
Interesting. Wow. And
Shao.
Yeah. For me, it's like I mean, for this film, like I feel like there's an anxiety, like at your late 20s, for like maybe Asian American Asian community, like that's always saying like you have to do something when you're 30. And for like 4 years ago, I was like 28, and I was very anxiety about like am I like being a sucker in New York, and maybe I'm still a sucker in Taiwan. But like recently, I just made a lot of like also participate in like some camera department in some feature films, and I wasn't happy about that because I think yeah, for this film, like they said, like when Ginny is like a prototype for like every suckers in the world. I mean, I feel like although I'm doing something like, but I don't feel like I fulfill like a perfect image of myself during my 30s. And now I'm like 4 years later, I'm 32. I feel like I should do something different. I still writing and shooting some like scripting for my friends, but I just kind of feel like I didn't like I'm not a like best version of myself. So feel like a little bit I'm more relaxed now, but still be there's some doubts in my mind. It's just like the character Ginny, because we co-wrote this character, and I think the Ginny character represents me and Ziwei's anxiety towards our life, because we are coming from different. Ziwei is from Singapore, and I'm from China, and the rest of the crew and the cast are from everywhere, and our cast is from China, and we share the same anxiety upon our like very similar culture. So I think that's a thing still happening for now. As a Ginny character. So yeah, that's what I thought.
Great. Thank you guys for sharing that. I feel like a lot of people will see themselves in this film and will see themselves in your sort of real life stories. I think it's good to know sort of maybe we can imagine where Ginny went to in these last 4 years just by talking to you. And I think it's a really inspiring work that you've created, and I'm excited to bring it to New York. The screening hasn't happened yet at the time of this recording, but I'm very much looking forward to getting those reactions and I'll ensure that you guys, unfortunately, I'm sad you're not able to be here, but I'll ensure that you get to hear all of that feedback, because I think a lot of people it's going to resonate with a lot of people.
Awesome.
Yeah, so thank you so much, guys. Thank you for your time. This was awesome.
Thank
you
you,
for having-
Christopher.
You, yeah.
Have a good rest of your day, guys.
Take care.
Awesome. All right. Bye, guys.